just wanna be your girl. What's up, y'all? It's Jay here, your accountability coach and ghetto psychologist, and it is my life's purpose to help Black people navigate this patriarchal system of white supremacy. Y'all, every video almost just about I gotta start off with some kind of song. So always a song in my head because music is my life. I'm just playing. Will come. Um, I'm sorry, y'all. So my name again is Jay Lovely. It is my it is my purpose to help Black people navigate this patriarchal system of white supremacy. Right here on this channel, Lovely Thoughts. Go ahead and like the video right now. I don't care if you don't like what I'm talking about. Just like the video. Support me, especially if we Black. Come on, keep it in the family. And subscribe if you like what I'm talking about. Because I only want people who fuck with me, who really like what I'm talking about to subscribe. I need you to do that. So on this channel, we talk about everything. These are my thoughts on everything that makes life, right? But near and dear to my heart is, of course, Black issues that plague our community, and the whitewashing of society and how we can't even see it, right? And also, just a shameless plug, my book Thorn to the Eye pre-order is going to be January 16th. Keep forgetting the date. January 16th. And the official date of lunch is going to be February 6th. Now, I ain't forgot that. This book talks about pretty much everything that you can think of. I'm going to leave it at that. I will have further conversations about my book coming up later this month. I don't want to, you know, get too far into it too early because we still have some time before it comes out. But anyway, so today I want to talk about parenting, parental forgiveness. I talk about this in my book, but I'm gonna make this somewhat personal and on both ends as a daughter and as a mother. Parenting is one of the hardest jobs that you can sign up for. I think the one thing when it comes to parenting that is very touchy is you have to be intentional about having children, and most people are not. I've said this for years, even after I had my own daughter, because I realized it in myself early on, probably around 2015, 2016-ish. I knew that people were not being intentional about parenting because I wasn't intentional about parenting. Like, I knew I wanted to have a baby, but I didn't ever ask myself, why do I want to have a baby? Right? What reason do I want to be somebody's mom? And I don't want to, pat myself on the back, but I think I'm doing a pretty good job, right? My daughter say I am. So I just realized though that I understood people who didn't want kids more than I understood people who had kids. And I had a kid, and I still actually want another one. We'll talk more about that later. But again, I just didn't, people just never explained the reasoning of having children. We can use the Bible because everybody wants to do, oh, be fruitful, multiply. But y'all got to understand that the Bible is not always what we exactly think it is. Be fruitful and multiply doesn't necessarily have to do with reproduction. It could just, I got to go look at that scripture all over again because it's been a while since I read it. But I feel like it's more of just knowing how to create joy and love and all things that makes life great in this life. Multiply the joy, multiply the success, multiply the empathy, multiply the compassion. Like, that's what I see more so than, hey, just go out here and have children. Cause ain't God don't want you just being out here being fucking willy-nilly with your stuff, right? Just going out here just having children all over the place. That is no, because that's not going to it's not going to result in good human beings when you just go out here and you are reproductively irresponsible. That's what I don't I ain't never heard nobody say reproductively irresponsible before I said it. But people are reproductively irresponsible, right? And we cannot do that. Black people do it a lot. And that's not to say other groups don't do it, because damn sure they do. But black people, we do it a lot, and I always tell y'all it's just this breeding mindset that we have that was casted upon us through slavery. Just a quick history break. What y'all don't understand is after a rebellion in 1739, a slave revolt, a slave rebellion called the Stono Rebellion. This was when most of the slaves in America, they were African. After this rebellion, these people, the Osage, they stopped the slave trade altogether for like a decade because they just were scared. They were scared. They sent all and this was in South Carolina, and they sent all the white children and the white women. They sent them away out the state. That's how bad the revolt was. That's why y'all gotta stop acting like black people just took slavery laying down. Cause no. So after this revolt, legislation got stricter on enslaved people. They could not travel in groups anymore. They could not make their own money. They couldn't grow their own food anymore. This was when it shaped into the harshness that we know slavery was, where there was just no freedom whatsoever. They couldn't learn to read and write anymore, right? So, and the most important part, excuse me, the enslaver could kill the slaves who were rebellious. This is all after the Stonewall Rebellion, 1739. Look it up. So after this, they decided that that's when they started the breeding plantations, where in allowing us to breed with each other, right? Using the enslaved people that was already there. You know what I'm saying? And just so we have this mindset. Okay, so get back to to parenting and black people. We have this mindset where we just like to have a lot of children. And then also you have this mindset too where we feel like, oh, our children are going to, well, women feel like our children are just going to love us. They're going to just love us. Just going to, just, and I want to love them, right? It's really a fairy fucking tale. We know how to glamorize some shit, boy. So now, now this is a little bit further back, of course, because now the girlies are not really having children that early anymore. The birth the birth rates are going on a decline, if you will. But anyway, so black people just like to have kids. And 47% of black homes are broken. So do with that as you will. 47% are single parents. Do with that as you will. So we have kids for what? What do we have kids for? What do you want kids for? What do you have your kids for? What intention did you set when you decided to push a baby out, or on the other end, ejaculate inside of a woman? Trying to keep it clean here. What for real? Like, what intention did you set? And I'm gonna tell you, I know I'm not gonna make it to a male versus female thing. I'm gonna keep it real on both sides. Because, like I said, women a lot of times have babies because they're seeking love in that child, not realizing what that takes, though. How much love it takes from you, how much sacrifice, baby. So, men, on the other hand, I don't even know. I can't even tell you. That's one thing as a psychologist, I don't get in men's mind about why. I don't even think a lot of times most of these men are even intentional about having children. They act like they don't have no fucking part in it. They act like it's a mistake. All most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time. Or if they ain't acting like a mistake, it's a mistake after the relationship end. Okay, okay, okay. But for real though, so it's a fault on both ends. And I'm not trying to get into what I always talk about, but it's like men just don't. seem to understand their contribution to parenting. And they get upset because, oh, Father's Day is not a big deal. Y'all don't take fatherhood as a big deal. If y'all took fatherhood as a big deal, as women take motherhood as a big deal, maybe it would be just as celebratory. And this is coming from somebody who I had a granddaddy. I lived in a two-parent household. It wasn't my parents, but it was my grandparents. So they're still my parents. They just weren't my direct parents. So I lived in a two-parent household. And I also have I'm sorry, I also had several father figures. I had uncles, nigga. I have more uncles than I had aunties. I have an older brother who's 12 years my senior. Because I only had one auntie on both sides. My brother, I mean my daddy only had one sister. My mom only had one sister. The rest of them was boys. I had a lot of uncles. I had a lot of big cousins, male cousins. Because my eldest uncle, he had what, six boys? So I have a lot of masculine energy around me. You know what I'm talking about? But despite that, right? I'm not saying that I don't take fatherhood serious because I do, very serious. Because I know what it felt like to not have my actual father in my life, even though I had father figures. But I know how men operate, and I know what type of man is a man to me, and what type of man is just bullshit to me. Right? So I feel like y'all don't want to hear from the women who actually had father figures who really stood on business, and also but the father figures or the men in our life that we could still recognize where their flaws were and still pinpoint those flaws directly to y'all. Or even if it ain't them, right? Even if it's not the men in our lives who had flaws. It might be that they didn't have the flaws, so it's so easily for us to detect them in y'all. So I just feel like y'all don't take fatherhood seriously. And I can say that, like I said, as a daughter. And then now I'm saying it as a mother of someone whose father decided as soon as I didn't want to be with him romantically, that he would no longer be a father. He said it out his mouth. I wish I still had the text message. He told me if me and him were not going to be together, that little girl was not going to be his. And I'm like, that's not how that works. But okay. Okay. And I don't really talk too much about this relationship that I had with this man because, first of all, it's so long ago, y'all. It's been like 13. I mean, no, well, she's 13. It's been like 10 years going on, really. 10 years now. 2015. I was done with him. So I guess for the 10-year anniversary, we can just lay some of these things out, right? Because I don't talk too much about it, but just a little bit of tea for y'all when it comes to him and me. He put me through hell. And it was my fault for saying. Of course, I own that accountability coach. I know what part I played in all of it, right? I realized what I was doing by keeping him around, chipping away at myself, little by little. But guess what? I picked up those pieces, put them together. And this is the new form Jane or Jasmine, as you will, right? So it's not even just my experience, though. I see this, excuse me, even with close friends. I see this with women I don't know. I see this with women I know, where men really don't understand how important fatherhood is. Even if they had a daddy, because that man had a daddy. That man that I had a child with, now his daddy wasn't no good. I mean, according to him. And I'm not gonna argue with him about that because I can't talk about anybody else's parents. You tell me your parents wasn't shit, I just listen. Cause I don't have anything to say about that. Cause I can say the same thing about mine. I mean, and I don't want to say that, but I can't lie and be like I had the world's greatest parents. No, I didn't. Both of them had fucking mental issues. Just to keep it funky. And I love my mama. Me and my mama cool. We cool. But we bump heads because she a Scorpio, I'm a Leo. But we cool, we cool. I forget, didn't forget my mama. I'm constantly forgiving that lady, right? Cause it ain't even sometimes it just be new shit she be doing that get on my nerves. But I will never lie to her, to y'all, to anybody be like, I had the world's greatest mother. I can't say that. I don't want to lie. I love her though. And we cool. Like I said, I've learned a lot. I learned forgiveness. The most important thing my parents taught me was forgiveness. Not only for them, but for me. Because as a child, you tend to blame yourself for your parents' wrongdoings, their absence, especially their absence. If they're not there, you're like, oh, what's wrong with me? What did I do? Why they don't like me? Why they don't fuck with me? Am I not that important? You know what I'm saying? It's all these different things going in your head consciously and subconsciously. So I love both my parents, do. You know what I'm saying? Even though I don't know that my dad, I don't know that. I really don't know that man. I don't know. I don't know that. Excuse me. Sorry to this man. No. So, I mean, like I know him, but I don't know him. I can't even, you know, can't even remember the last time I had a real conversation with my daddy. And some people say they'd be hurt. I'm not hurt about it though. I've made peace with it. I'm over 36, be 37 next year. I made peace with so many things in my life. That's why y'all see me looking here. I be up here just unbothered as fuck. I don't know if you see it. I hope you see it on me because I am. But it's like, you have to learn how to really forgive your parents for what they do and what they don't do. What they did and what they didn't do. It can be hard because when you come to this world, you are dependent on someone to take care of you because you can't do anything for yourself. And when those people come into your life and they give you everything, they give you love, they give you comfort, they give you food, they give you all the things that you need, right? And then you grow up and you realize once you become less dependent, oh, they finna go. They finna get the fuck on. They finna go do their own thing. they finna, they finna, what? You can walk, you can talk, you can feed yourself. Bye, child. Leave your ass somewhere else. But when you start to see that, though, you like, oh, okay, well, shit. But so you internalize it. You can't help it. You're like, well, they're like, it's like God just left me. Cause in your mind, these people who give you everything, they somewhat like a God in your head. That's why people put their parents on the pedestal. I don't. And that's one other thing too that I'm grateful for. I don't put anybody on a pedestal. Because if your parents fail you, that means you should not put nobody up there. That's the biggest lesson. If your parents failed you in any way that you feel short-sighted, slighted about, that should teach you don't put anybody on the pedestal. Because if you can't put them, why would you put anybody else up there? You know what I mean? They really shouldn't put them in general, but it's just saying. So I feel bad for the people who do put their parents on the pedestal and just want to always make them proud, make them proud. I feel bad for y'all. I can't relate. That's a pressure I'm so grateful I don't have to experience. And people probably say that I'm being a hater. I'm just being for real. I don't want that kind of pressure because I pressure myself enough. Let's be clear. I don't need nobody else's pressure. So because my parents were so imperfect, I didn't have to have that kind of pressure. Now I had pressure from other family members to not be like my mother, to not be like my father. You know what I'm saying? That kind of unfair pressure. But being y'all see how I am. I didn't give a fuck. I still did what I want. And it's crazy because all this pressure that I was experiencing, and I'm nowhere near like that. Like I have such a, I'm sorry, such a great head on my shoulders. I wasn't doing too much of nothing. I mean, I was doing stuff. I ain't gonna have like out here having my way, having fun and shit. I live in hell. I live in hell. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm from Atlanta. So you know I was in the street. Baby, we made outside. But nah, for real. So but still I had a great head on my shoulders. I didn't have my child until I was like 23. Okay. And I was in a relationship with somebody for over 5 years. So I was never just out there doing a lot, you know. I just did what I wanted to do though. I did what I wanted to do. Yeah. But so do y'all really know y'all parents? Speaking of the pedestal, right? That people put their parents on. It's like, do y'all really know your parents? What I found too is when people do come from two-parent households, it's such a secretive dynamic for a lot of children, what their parents go through. They have to figure it out or they make things up in their heads. They put two and two together and sometimes they do make three, but a lot of times they put two and two together and it's making five. And they make things up because the parents don't communicate. So these children leave it up to interpretation. And this is why you'll find that two-parent household shit don't mean nothing. Cause I'm like, again, the man that I dated came from a two-parent household. The man I had a baby with came from a two-parent household. Your mom, or maybe her mom, came from a two-parent household. How do we end up in the situations that we are in right now where most people are not in our community are not from a two-parent household, but our grandparents or our parents were? So does that mean that two parents households are effective? This is the question y'all had. This is what, and I talk about this in my book. Ask yourself that question. Let's be for real. Let's wake this the fuck up. In the 1920s, be clear, black women and black men were getting married in higher rates than white people were. Black women especially were getting married at younger, well not younger, I don't want to say younger, it was fucking same ages. But higher rates, I'm sorry, and higher rates than the white girls were in the 1920s. The um which is basically the generation after enslaved people. My great grandparents, basically. Mine. Because my great grandma was married. Be clear. I mean, they had what, six kids? Was it seven now? Girl, I be losing count. I gotta go look at the picture again, child. I be forgetting now in my older age. I used to know how many it was, and I think it's seven of them. It was seven, I believe. It was seven of them, right? Of my great grandparents, my grandparents. It was seven of them. They were married. All of them married, had children, and their children were married. And most of them, well, I'll say not most, not in my family. I'm sorry. But that generation in general, were divorced. I would say in my mama's generation, I would say a quarter of them got divorced. That's why I say in my family stay married. They do. I don't know if they good marriages, but I would say maybe it might be a little divorced. I'm not counting the ones that got married. Let me see. I don't know if my uncle got a divorce, but they wasn't together. It might be about a little more. It might be over a quarter. I have to really sit down and think about it for real. I don't want to do this on camera. But so but okay, back to the point though. That generation, my mom was them generation, that was when the divorce rate was on the rise. the generation after the grandparents that stayed married, that y'all so glamorized, they were the ones who grew the divorce rate. And now it's at that same level, basically. It's been consistent. More marriages fail than stay together, y'all. I'm gonna show you, we gotta realize that. So we gotta realize that our parents, for whatever reason, sometimes they are just having children because the world tells them that they should. Not necessarily because they want them for real, or they have a plan when they have them. Granted, it's hard to plan, right? You just never know. But it's just the intention most of the time in our community. That pressure to get married, have children, and then you have it and you like, what the fuck is this? Yeah. So this might be a long video here. Going back to the two-parent household and that how it affects your relationships, right? The two-parent household versus the single parent household. Like I said, my baby daddy had two parents, but he did not have two parents that modeled a healthy relationship, which made him a terrible, terrible man. Was the most terrible man I have dealt with, and most of everybody else I've dealt with did not have two parents. He was the worst. Okay. Now the second worst man I've dealt with, I'm just going, like I said, I'm gonna make it personal. The second worst man I dealt with also had two parents. Hold on, I'm finna build this hierarchy because I'm thinking about it while we in real time. Also had two parents in the household. Now, granted, those two parents split when he was, oh, I forgot how old he said he was. They was together at first and then they broke up. The second worst also came from a two-parent household, but from a two-parent household that did not model healthy relationship, right? I want to be specific. Yes, two-parent households always the goal, but it means nothing if it's not a loving household. It means absolutely nothing. In fact, I will venture to say, in my humble opinion, when you come from a two-parent household and love is not modeled in a healthy way, you're worse than someone who comes from a single-parent household. That's a cliff I'm willing to jump off of, a hill I'm willing to die on. Nobody can change my mind right now about that. Not right now, anyway. Now, two-parent household is the goal. If it's a loving household, give me that man because we can at least be friends, right? Because I can find something of value in the man who came from a two-parent household who that model a healthy love. We can find some kind of common ground somewhere to be friends, lovers, whatever, right? Because at least I know that type of man, hopefully, if society ain't fucked them up, you know what I'm saying? At least that kind of man, I know we can have some kind of commonality, even though I did not come. Well, I did, like I said, I did not come from a two-parent household from my parents, but I did come from a two-parent household. Now, did my grandparents model healthy love? To an extent. To an extent. To an extent, for sure. Now, were there moments that I didn't like that I saw between them? Yeah. But it was my grandma. I ain't like my grandma. Like, I ain't gonna, like I said, I'm getting a little person. My grandma, I'll never forget. I remember seeing my grandma. She didn't punch him, but she hit my granddad. I don't know what he did. I don't know. I don't know what he did. I don't know what he said. I don't know nothing. I just know she hit my granddad. I said, "Don't you hit my granddad." Period. And she stopped. Never seen it again. That's one thing I remember. But outside of that, they weren't super affectionate. But I knew my granddaddy and my grandpa. I mean, my grandma loved each other. For sure. Facts on top of facts. I like how they used to talk to each other sometimes. It used to be funny. Even when they argued, it used to be funny. You know what I mean? So I knew they never were that serious when it came down to a disagreement. You feel me? So for me, I can find a commonality with somebody who grew up in a two-parent household because they get the real dynamics of a relationship. But again, when people the third, okay, like, hold on, I'm gonna give you the third one because this is important. The third worst man, because that's it. It's only been about three terrible men that I've been at. Everybody else been really cool. I ain't really had no too many problems, but it's been three men that I dated that was just absolutely terrible. And then there were some men who just did stupid shit, and it was just like you just whack, right? But the three men who just did who were just absolutely terrible to me. The third one, he did not come from a two-parent household. Came from a single parent household. But he came from a mother who hated his father, but also who coddled him, babied him, and they had like a Oedipus complex type of relationship. She wanted him for herself, or at the very least, if he was going to deal with a woman, she wanted him to deal with the type of woman that she chose him to deal with. She was the mama who would tell him he wasn't shit. You ain't gonna be shit like your daddy. That type of bitch. That's who the fuck she was. But also still, like I said, if he wasn't her son, she probably would dick suck him. But she dick suck him proverbially in different ways. Right? So you got the moms of boys, not necessarily boy moms, but sometimes more likely to be a boy mom. But the mom of a boy, because she still had a daughter too, who treats their sons like that, they're definitely gonna be doomed. Doomed from the start, from the start. But keep in mind again, the top two out of three of the worst men I have ever met and dealt with came from a two-parent household. So the effects, how that affects your relationships. Like I said, if you don't have a model, if the model that you see is nothing but toxicity and dysfunction, that's what you're gonna model. That's what you're going to do. Just you're gonna follow the leader. Your lead, the parents are your leaders. So you're going to have those type of relationships. And this is why we have to be careful about staying in a relationship for the kids. Because when it's not healthy, right? They're going to model that bullshit. They're gonna go out here and seek the same relationship, either consciously or subconsciously. So we have to heal from what the fuck we see from our parents. That's more the most important thing when it comes to life. Don't be your parents. Don't repeat what they do. Don't treat your children how the fuck they treated you because you didn't like it. So why? Well, my parents did it. This is one of the main things that piss me off about black people. My parents did it and I turned out fine. Are you really fine? Hmm. How much money in your bank account right now? What's your credit score like? Are you stressed? What do you do for self-care? This is when I started spilling all of these questions out. How's your mental health? How quick are you to anger? Then people started thinking about shit like, oh, well, maybe I'm not fucking fine. You not fine. You not fine. Something is wrong. Your parents is not perfect. They didn't do everything right. And the main problem we have is whooping our children. We need to fucking stop that. Black people whoop our children more than white people. We whoop our children more than anybody else. And we're not doing the best. We're not performing the best. We're not. On top of the residual effects of slavery, especially through epigenetics, we're not doing okay. So we need to stop, at the very least, stop hitting our fucking kids. You can't be stupid enough to think that violence against someone no matter if it's a child or not, is going to beget a well-rounded individual. All you're going to do is create another violent person, another angry person. Oh, I know I'm stepping on some toes now. Motherfuckers, black people don't want to hear that no whooping conversation. Cause y'all, ooh, spirit of run, spoil the child. Y'all love to fucking use the Bible behind y'all motherfucking bullshit. Bitch, that's not what the fuck that scripture is talking about. It's not talking about literally physically punishing your child. It's just saying you need to enforce discipline. See, we are punishing, we're not disciplining. You're confusing the two. I'm just punishing you. Discipline is actually teaching your child how not to do something, how to say no to something that's not good for them. You need to teach them how to do that and why. Why? Yeah, y'all be like, well, I used to get whooping and my mama would tell me why. Okay, but did she have to really whoop you to get you to stop? And if you say, yeah, I don't, you just brainwashed. You just brainwashed. And if you didn't stop, then it didn't work. So that just further proves that they didn't have to. I'm reaching somebody. I don't know who gonna watch this all the way through, but somebody getting reached. Pull you out that motherfucker. Because that is the whitewashing that I'll be talking about. Talk about it in my book. I go into depth in all of this stuff that I'm talking about. You know, excuse me. Even though I'm saying it verbally right now, I go into depth in the book, of course. But again, it's all about forgiveness, because children likely will love you unconditionally more than anything. It's not guaranteed that your parents will love you unconditionally, but your child will. Your child likely will. More likely than your parents will. No cap. And that's why it's very important for us to understand this residual effect, this trickling down that happens to our children. Why it's important for us to be intentional about healing, intentional about why we want to have children in the first place. Not because of a fucking legacy. Because who gives a damn if you have kids if you don't leave them shit? My legacy. You ain't leaving them shit. Your children ain't your fucking legacy if you ain't leaving them shit. Hello? Anybody home? I'm gonna say it one more time. Your children ain't your legacy if you ain't leaving them shit. Cause a lot of y'all wanna be fruitful and multiply. But also in that same Bible that you're quoting, it speaks about generational wealth. It speaks about leaving your grandchildren shit, nigga. That's how I know my grandma was blessed. Cause when she left this world, she blessed me, and I'm her grandchild. She blessed all of her children and grandchildren in her death. Got a healthy son with money. Praise the Lord. So I'm not, y'all not finna play with me. I don't want to be played with, y'all, because y'all play all day. So we don't need to just be having kids because we can. Who cares? You can ejaculate. Who cares? You can ovulate. Why do you want to have kids? Why? Have a real good reason. Because if you ain't leaving them shit, what's the point? What's the point? What's the point? I'm being real. What's the point? What's because if it's not all I want to leave a legacy for real, and the legacy is not just the children, it has to be what you leave them, it has to be the knowledge you instill in them, it has to be what kind of person that they end up being. Cause you leaving them behind. That is your children kind of is your legacy, but not in the way y'all make it seem. Cause they're not here to take care of you. That's also in the Bible. They're not here to take care of you. You're here to take care of them. If you're gonna be a parent, that's one of the most important jobs in your life. It's one of the most honorable jobs in life. And let me tell you why. And a lot of y'all gonna be like, oh, okay, here you go. You had sex, nigga, and the act of your act of reproduction produced something. I want y'all to understand when you go and you do a job, right, and you produce something, whatever you produce is supposed to bring you favor as long as it is of value, meaning you build it up, you nurture it, you create it into something of value. Now, your child's already invaluable because it's life that came from your act of reproduction. You owe that. You owe it. You owe them. You owe your children. So, ending on this note, if you want to end generational curses, the main thing you have to look at is how your parents or your family parented, raised you, and what you want to not do with your own children. I don't whoop my child, right? I stopped whooping my child a long time ago. I can't even remember last time. Now that don't mean that I don't. Because I know y'all be like, dude, you're a gentle parent. Not really, because I'm not a gentle person. I can be a gentle person. She knows. Everybody knows I can be gentle. I can be soft. But I'm not a gentle parent. But I'm also not a tyrant. I'm also not a child. I'm sorry. I'm also not a parent that does not give my child autonomy. She's who she is, and she's definitely gonna be my child. She has a voice. I let her use it, right? But I also tell her we ain't that cool often. Like I don't want to play because she like to play. She 13. She like to she done got to this playful stage, and I don't like it because I'm like, girl, you too big. I don't want to play. I ain't saying you can't play, just don't play with me. Bad. Like that's where I'm at. Like, girl, because teenagers, they the way they play, I don't like how they play. I don't. When she was 8, 10, 5, especially when she was 5, that was fun. But it's I don't want to play with her no more. I'm done playing. I'm done playing for real. She know it. I'm like, girl, we can play different ways, but I don't want to. You about as big as me. I'm not finna play with your big grown ass. So no, I'm not a gentle parent, but I don't put my hands on my child. Won't. Not in anger. We can play, but no. I don't do that. I don't do that. I don't do that. It's not that I won't do it, then you did not hear me say won't. Like I said, if it's in anger, it's in defense. Cause that means she did something. But I'm not gonna just hit her. I have no reason to do that. I don't believe in that. Um Because number one, if she fire off and hit me back, I'm gonna lose it. That's number one. And then number two, I respect her enough not to put my hands on her. I don't put my hands on people that I respect. I try my best not to, unless they just push me to a moment where I can't respect them. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in using violence to get people to do what I want them to do. Because that's ultimately what whooping your child is. Yeah, we can be like, well, I'm whooping them because they need to learn the lesson. Can they learn the lesson without getting whooped? They can't? You don't think they can? You think they incapable? What the fuck you think they do when they go to school? Because they can't whoop them at school. How else do they enforce discipline at school, right? Y'all have to learn different methods. As Black people, we have to learn different methods to discipline our children instead of this whitewash whooping shit. Because that's where we get it from. Oh, we want to exert some kind of control. We want them to do what we tell them to do. Hit them. Sound real slave masters to me. Hit them. Beat that. Whoop that. Hit them. So yeah, y'all. I talked about it a lot. Parental. I talked about it a lot. How long I been on this whole? Oh, 48 minutes. I was about to say, I know it's almost an hour, but yeah, this is a long one. This is a lot. So again, if you got this far, I love you. 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 Make sure you subscribe. Hit like on the video if you didn't. Drop a comment. Take away whatever you took away from this. Tell me what's up. Um, y'all, I don't know what's going on in the world because I ain't been looking at the news lately. So I've been focusing on not talking about some of the drama that's been going on in the world because I will talk about that on this channel too. But I love y'all. Happy holidays. Um, this Christmas, I typically tell y'all I ain't into Christmas that much. Even though I grew up, I'm gonna tell you, if you want to click off because I'm finna make it by myself, you can go ahead and do that now. But I want to talk about the Christmas spirit real quick, just about growing up in my home, in the home I grew up in, and just growing up in love. Because I know a lot of Black people grew up in survival, and I didn't realize how many people it was. It's like, let me say this. I was never a stupid girl growing up. I was very intuitive. And I knew that my situation was not the worst situation, even though I hated it, right? Um, because I could just easily look at other kids' situation and can tell, even without them saying it with their mouth, that they was in the worst situation. Or I just saw people who I knew and they would tell me they was in a worse situation, or even just me reading, because I was an avid reader and just watching TV and movies and shit. I was very cultured. I was not a very sheltered child. I was watching shit I shouldn't have been watching. But I was a 90s kid. So, your parents just let you see some stuff, or your family let you see some stuff that you probably shouldn't have saw, but it shaped the world for me. And I knew that my situation was not the worst situation. So I see now that a lot of people won't be able to relate to the love that I grew up in. And it's a part of, like I said, just the parenting and the upbringing. And this Christmas season, if you are someone who you never experienced the joy of getting woke up early in the morning to go downstairs to open the presents, or even in your adulthood, you don't have the excitement of Christmas anymore, just know that you are still important. You're important. You're important to this life we live, to existence. You wouldn't be here if you didn't matter. Trust me. Trust me. The universe ain't just spunning out shit that don't matter. Because if you knew the fight it took for you to even come into conception, I'm telling y'all gotta go watch these conception videos and understand how hard it is for people to have a baby. First of all, it's very hard for people to have a baby. Even though people think it's easy, it's really not. Especially if you're being intentional about it, it's very hard. you try be intentional about having a baby and see how hard it is. Now, it's easy to have a baby on accident because you ain't trying, you ain't thinking about it. But when you try, it can be very difficult. And even just outside of the difficultness of that, it's just the whole act of conception in general. You happen to be the egg, the lucky egg out of hundreds of thousands. I think women have 400,000 eggs that they're born with, roughly. You happen to be that one solitary egg. Your dad came, and luckily enough, that one sperm out of millions, maybe even billions. I don't know how many. I know it's in the millions, billions somewhere. I don't know. One of them, and going through all of the goddamn speed bumps and traffic humps, all of that, because you gotta really see. It's not easy for that sperm to get to that egg, baby. They be on the fight of their life, literally. So it's just you respond out of something, and the universe conspired for you to come here. You're special. You're important. So here's my gift to you. Merry motherfucking Christmas. I ain't got it. I ain't got it. I ain't got it. I ain't got it. I hope that made you laugh though, for real. So again, I'm probably definitely gonna be making some more videos. Excuse me. But y'all, last shameless plug. I just want to brag real quick about the cover art on this mug. Look at her. Ain't she cute? She beautiful. Thorn to the eye. I mean, this cover art couldn't have came out any more perfect than I envisioned. Yes, it is AI. Yeah, I use AI. Sue me. All right. Love you guys. I will see y'all on the next one though.